Good evening. Welcome back to the channel. Welcome back to Born Minis. We haven't streamed in a long time.
It's been a while.
Do you remember about when it was that we did a stream?
Well, we did the
Rumble on the
we
Rivers.
did Rumble on the Rivers at the end of October.
Yeah.
Before that, probably sometime in September.
Yeah.
It's been a while.
We were doing a little bit of Marvel United
Yeah.
minis, and we've done mostly MCP since.
Life kind of took over.
Yeah, and now we're going to be tearing apart the ceiling and the floor because of a leaky shower. Yay,
Hooray!
life!
Hooray, life! So yeah, it's a little crazy over here right now. So it's super fun.
I'm excited to get to our hobby chat. I have Angela here. I'm pretending like I'm going to put color on her, but I'm not going to really be able to focus on that. Here's MODOK's sort of base. I'm not convinced MODOK is good enough for a painting competition. I'm definitely going to have to put more time into painting him. And just for the display, I've got like extra arms coming off of him with gears and blades. And he's just going to sit here on this little plinth. So yeah, he's not crazy or anything, but I thought the conversions of the Doc Ock arms with extra weapons would be interesting. So yeah, I don't think it's a really strong entry, and I wasn't even convinced that I should enter him, but I've come this far, so he probably will get submitted for single model.
Maybe.
Well, tonight I think you wanted to talk about what you're hoping to see. So since we're not chatting hobby yet, maybe we could chat Adepticon wish list, I think.
Yeah, we can chat about a wish list.
I mean, the top of the list has got to be Marvel Crisis Protocol teams.
Yeah. Oh, that's our main event.
That's the main board that we've been working on designing and now constructing finally.
Yep. Construction has happened. And
there's a lot of decorating that's going to need to happen soon.
Yeah, decorating and painting and sculpting and
hobbying.
Facing and Angela obviously is getting painted, and then we have to do all their bases. And
Angela's the last one that needs painted. I got Groot done. None of their bases are completely 100% done though. I spent time on the models, detailing them and making them, I think, to a level I'm happy with relatively for Adepticon. But we haven't done their bases at all because we want the bases to match the display board, and now we're finally just starting to do the display board. So their bases have just been black or gray up until now. We're hoping that Hazewood will jump on and we can do some work in progress chat about his Path of the Worthy.
Yeah. So beyond Marvel Crisis Protocol teams,
right? The events that we're looking for, hopefully in the cart preview.
Our wish list is obviously Marvel Trivia.
Will you remind me when the cart preview is for Adepticon?
It is next Monday. I don't know what time exactly it goes live.
Okay.
Let me actually, you know what, right now.
Yeah, let's pull it up.
Let's just see if Adepticon has posted about it. Let me get on their website.
Haven't said what time it is?
No.
Okay. Each year, we try things, we achieve a certain whatever, and we come back next year with higher hopes and dreams. Last year, our hope was to medal at Armies on Parade. We did not get there. We went all the other steps up from getting best theme, getting into Armies on Parade, and then, but not being selected as like the best skirmish game. That would be one thing that we would love to do.
See, I do have my official War Dolls Hobby Hang event Thursday evening.
Sweet.
So that got approved. And then
You said Marvel Trivia.
Marvel Trivia is always Wednesday night. Hopefully that stays the same. We are hoping to maybe do Star Wars Trivia Thursday night after Hobby Hang.
About Marvel Trivia, we want to see the
Guardians of the
the
Insects.
Guardians of the Insects.
This is our Marvel Trivia team every year. 2-time champs.
Dustin, Peter, Andrew, Gina. So MCP teams, maybe Legion teams if we can sneak that in there. Marvel Trivia. You want to take some painting classes?
Yeah, I definitely want to do some painting hobby classes. More Dolls Hobby Hang.
Hobby Hang.
I want to have more time with our friends this year. Like, I want to do, if Jamie Daggers does her karaoke again, I want to go to her karaoke
Yeah, I was
night.
so tired we didn't even make it to karaoke.
Yeah, because it was Friday night right after a whole 14-hour day of MCP teams. It was not going to happen.
Should we get into hobby chat?
Sure.
Hobby chat. Painting competitions. Take this with a grain of salt because we, none of us have a golden demon. We have a stack of, best painted army awards and best theme awards, and at Origins this year I did take best unit and best splay, which was insane. That I walked away with multiple things at Origins, but
Do you want me to put up your best unit?
yeah. So that's with the Wrecking Crew, and I learned because when you do a painting competition, there's you want to make sure that you're getting lots of feedback, and you want to be communicating with other artists and judges, and you want to learn. Yes, you might be there to compete, but you're really there to learn. And what I learned about Origins is specifically they were looking for pieces that had lots of different colors. So you could paint something really, really well, but if you didn't have a broader color palette, then for those judges, it probably wasn't going to play as well. Every single competition, you almost want to get in the heads of the judges.
Yeah.
And you want to get in the heads of, or whoever's going to be voting on, the models.
Yeah.
Essentially, whoever's going to be looking at it, whether it's players that are voting on it, or judges that are, scoring you or whatever, making notes for you. So that kind of leads me to my process for our Mandalorians, and when I was working on our Mandalorians a couple years ago, I watched every single Dallas interview that I could possibly find. If it was him talking about Path of the Worthy or painting, usually Path of the Worthy was the interviews that I was listening to. So what I can share with you is some of the takeaways that I got.
Picture of our Mandalorians.
Okay, perfect. And we can break down our themes later if the chat wants us to do that. But every painting competition is going to have different rules. Their judges are going to be looking for different things. And when you are doing a competition like Path of the Worthy, you want to get in the heads of those judges. But you kind of want to see what they do and how they think. So we're talking about Path of the Worthy right now. And Dallas is their main art head designer and judge for Path of the Worthy. So things that I've heard Dallas say is you want to paint everything. We're talking the tufts. We're talking the plinth. He's going to look at the construction of the plinth or the base or the frame that you're making for your piece. If it's made out of a piece of wood, he's going to look at that wood. Is the wood grain showing, and should it be showing? Questions like that. So paint everything, and he's also mentioned like how things read, because you might be attempting a certain technique or effect, and he's only gonna judge what he is looking at. He's said multiple times before that he won't like deduct your points if it is, I'm not sure if it even is pointed. He's not going to ding you for something you didn't do. He's only going to judge the things that you did do.
Yeah.
Makes sense? So if you didn't do non-metallic metal, well, okay, that's fine. You didn't do it. But if you do it poorly, if you try non-metallic metal and it doesn't read well, and if you don't achieve what you're trying, then that's going to hurt the piece altogether. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
You want to lean on the things that you're good at and maybe experiment with some things you haven't tried before, but make sure you boost that up to a level that's competition worthy, right? You want to tell a story and narrative. AMG really pushes the storytelling of the pieces. If you look through Path of the Worthy Winners, you can see what's going on. For example, Alex's Sinister Six with Spider-Man. You can see like the intensity, and you see Spider-Man's little spider sense going off. Like he's telling that story. Would you throw up Juggernaut if you haven't? So my bronze Juggernaut, he's got some grass in his stuck in the bottom of his boots, and there's a bush that I did where it's like stamped down as if he smashed his foot into that bush. So you're telling that story through little things. It could be like weathering.
Hazewood is here for a couple minutes.
Oh, sweet. All right, for a couple minutes. All right, so let's try to get through this as fast as we can. Maybe we jump to specifically doing his whip. Okay. So, Hazewood. When you do a painting competition, you want to make sure that you read those rules. And we already talked about that. So there's size restrictions.
Did
but
you want me to throw his whip up?
Yes, definitely. Yep.
Sorry. I don't have it saved. Let me save it.
So you got to read the rules. Sorry, something I was just thinking of for Dallas comments. I could probably talk about this for a while, but Dallas's go-to description for what a Path of the Worthy duel is Bucky and Cap back to back. He's mentioned that multiple times, and I'm thinking to myself, should I just do Bucky and Cap back to back? Because that's what the judge says as the example, what he likes. Maybe. But you're trying to get in Dallas's head. Another aspect is making sure you pick the right models. And I definitely think that Red Hulk, or we shouldn't say Red Hulk, we should say the Immortal Hulk is an amazing model to pick for a piece. I think it's great. There's so many muscles and blood vessels, and there's so much action in the jumping and the pose. I definitely think it's a good choice of a model. Yep. He's coming in. All right, so check out Hazewood's Red Hulk. I think, and I don't even know if he's done quite yet or not, but he looks amazing. Obviously, you've got some effects going on with Sam, Captain America. I really like what you're trying to do. I really like that you're taking an MCU scene or moment and you're trying to make that a Path of the Worthy piece. I think that's a great idea. We love to do that. When we're designing and we're thinking about things, a lot of times Stephanie is thinking about a certain scene in a movie and she's like, can we create that? Can we get that atmosphere, through on the miniatures? So picking the right models, I think for this one in particular you have. There's definitely good choices and bad choices. For example, like Wong versus Scarlet Witch, right? Wong is just doing a kung fu fighting pose and is just kind of standing on a little magical puddle. Whereas you have Scarlet Witch in the air. She's got all of this magical stuff all over her. She's flying. I'm not saying Scarlet Witch is a good Path of the Worthy choice, but I would say Scarlet Witch versus Wong, you could really show some technique and talent with that model. So, all right, we have Hulk. Look at those muscles, those abs.
You said he's very raw. Yeah. I can tell. But the abs are looking phenomenal. You've got that going really, really well right now. Yeah, I would just make sure to pick out all of the little details on the base. Like there's little stones and there's bricks in there, and just pick out all of those as many little details in that, and put as many colors in that basing as you possibly can.
I might burst your bubble. I think he's amazing. I think he's a great model. We got to go back to the rules. So one of the rules for Path of the Worthy, and this is serious, you cannot do models in your display or in your piece that have not been released yet by Atomic Mass Games. So with this Hulk, Immortal Hulk, Red Hulk, you're walking a fine line as to if that display, it could be taken out. It could be DQ'd. It's happened before. We have our buddy Dr. D converted an awesome comic book character, painted it amazingly well, submitted it, and it got taken out of the case because it was a character that hasn't been released yet by AMG. Red Hulk is really interesting because he's not blatantly wrong. What I'm saying is, if this is Bruce Banner and he's painted red, it's fine. But if it's Thaddeus Thunderbolt Ross Red Hulk, that character has not been released for the game. So it's kind of like your intent. You're trying to do that character from the MCU, but it hasn't been released yet. To add another layer of complexity to this, Red Hulk has been announced. He is coming to the game. His render of his model has been shown. His rules have not, but he's been announced. Does that mean he's released? He's not released.
No.
So what I'm saying is, you're probably running a risk by using this Red Hulk. I would give it a 50-50. Like 50% chance it stays in the case.
Yeah.
And they treat it as a Hulk that is red, and a 50% chance that it could just be disqualified because he's trying to get away.
He says that does kind of burst my bubble.
Yes, I know. Yeah. I was kind of getting to the nitty gritty because there's about 100 other things I could say about your display and critique it. This is probably the nastiest critique, is that it might not fly.
Yeah.
So, but that being said, assuming that it is Bruce Banner and he's just red, because you can paint models whatever color you want. You just can't do a character that's not released yet.
Because yeah, if you're trying to just replicate that scene from Brave New World,
yeah, which he is obviously with the trees.
Your intent is is for it to be Thaddeus, which is Red Hulk, which is a character that is not released yet.
Yeah, but he's been announced. So, what's the release date on him? Aha!
Let's see.
Because if he's released in February or early March, then it's fine.
It's a timing thing.
Yeah. So, yeah. Let's check the timing.
Let's look and see.
There's hope yet. Yeah, I like I said, I love the action of this model. I love the detail of this model. I think with just a little bit more time in the painting, he could be a Path of the Worthy. The basing to me is just kind of like mud, so it just needs a little definition, like what's what. It just looks like yellow mud or something. Dallas mentions realism. Okay, I think I've determined that realistic looking models are gonna do better than like cartoony looking ones. I know some people have a cartoon-like style. I couldn't tell you what my style is. I think it's some way halfway in between cartoony and realistic, but just in general, I think realistic is what you're after. Like with my Juggernaut display, they said that I needed to paint my curtain rod to make it a silver. Like I had painted, you know, all of these things, I put all these little tiny details into it, and they just said, well, this curtain rod is just shiny metal. And if you would have painted that, it would have been a silver piece. So my question to Hazewood is, how do you want to be judged? Because we should have asked that earlier. They asked us, how do you want to be judged? Basically the nice version with a little bit of critique, or do you want us to pick it apart as much as we possibly can? When I went in there to get feedback, I told them to hit me as hard as they possibly could because I wanted to learn and get better. If you spend a ton of time on this, I apologize, but I'm just going to start picking stuff apart, okay? And it's not to be mean, it's just what I'm seeing with my eyes as if I was a judge, okay? The street there is cork, and that could be a discussion all of its own. An idea of things I want to do with it, but sure, that works. Okay, yeah, okay, I'll go somewhere in the middle. So you want to try to have it be realistic, right? You don't want it to look like stuff glued on a board. I know it's kind of backwards, but like to me, the sidewalk needs a curb. That would kind of help sell the sidewalk. It looks too gray, so I know it's a work in progress. You're probably going to add some texture right now. It just looks like gray foam stuck on a board. I think cork is great. Like you can use cork for so many different things. We used cork for like curbs and sidewalks and concrete stuff. And actually, if you look at the Path of the Worthy, that got gold group or squad last year with the Wolverine X-23 and converted Honey Badger, Anthony Wang. Amazing. It won gold. It looks phenomenal. The base is just cork, I'm pretty sure. If you look closely, it just kind of looks like cork. So is just some cork enough? What do you think, Stephanie? It's kind of a hard question to answer.
For me, cork, it depends on the application you're using it
Yeah.
for.
Does it work as blacktop, or what he's it's a road, right? Or I think it's a road.
To me, it's not reading correctly for me.
Yep. And I actually think a different color on it would, I don't know if it needs darkened down.
I don't know if it's the color or what, but to me it's not reading like a road.
Yeah, okay.
Maybe you need lines painted on the road, or cracks painted on the road, maybe a pothole, I don't know.
Yeah, you kind of want to make the bases match what it's on. So like Falcons or Captain America, Sam Wilson is on like concrete blocks, and then he's on like a blacktop road. So that's just something that sticks out to me.
I like that you cut out the circles where they're gonna sit to like sit them down in it.
100%.
But then make their base match what they're sitting in.
Yep.
To make it make sense that as to why you're sitting them down in it, you want it to match.
Yeah, you either want to not have bases and like magnetize them or stick them straight to the surface, or you want to try to make their bases match the surface, I think. At least a little bit, kind of blend it together. Yes, I know, Luna, thank you. I mean, I love the trees. The tufts need painted. I painted my tufts, and Dallas said they didn't look painted, and I like highlighted the tops with yellow, and I Agrax Earth Shade around the bottom of the tuft, and he still said it didn't look painted. So those little tufts back there, I know it sounds crazy, but learn how to paint the tufts. It doesn't take very long, I don't think, to do. And I guess the only other thing is what's up with the putty that's like around the edge of it. You probably either want to go with like a smooth frame or like rock texture. Like it has to have a purpose. Does that make sense? Stuff like you could have it be a certain texture. It just kind of looks like I don't know.
I would either like smooth it out to where it's like perfectly straight.
Yeah, it's either smooth or
it has
a purpose.
Or make it look like they're on like a broken platform, like cliffside.
Yeah, maybe like Hulk has smashed something and the cracks are seeping down into the border or something. That's possible. That validates ideas I have with the lines on the road, and I did plan on painting the tufts. I was curious about what I was going to do with the clay on the sides. Yeah, I tend to like fill some stuff in with caulk or spackle just because.
Caulk and spackle and making it look like a mountain sign is the easiest thing to do.
Yeah, but it's not a mountain. This is a park-ish area.
But it's easy to make it look like broken rock.
Yeah.
Like
yeah, that's kind
caulk,
of go-to.
spackle, rocks, and sand are your best friend.
Sand of different coarseness.
I don't even see Red Hulk listed on the 2026 release schedule.
Yeah. I don't think it's been released when he's getting released.
He's not on the list for Q1 or Q2.
It's just been announced, and
that he's coming.
And we saw a graphic design render of his sculpt,
yeah,
and that was about it. Will you throw up the other whip?
Yeah.
Watch me whip. There's not a lot of other things to pick apart about this. Like I like that you're trying to do this scene and it has a feel. Maybe the grassy area needs a little dirt in with the grass, because right now it's kind of golf course grass. I don't know, maybe the park and the scene though might have really nicely cut grass.
I really like your rock formation. I like the colors that you did on that. That looks really good. I love the trees. I want to know where you got your trees.
Did you make them? Did you just buy them straight from somewhere?
Yeah, those are so pretty, and I need to know where you got them.
Or how you did them.
Or how you did them.
Yeah, can we steal that, please? Not for this year, but just more tools in the toolbox.
Yeah. I got them straight.
Cool.
And where from?
That's cool, though. I mean, if it works, it works.
Yeah.
Like, if you've chosen the right element from Hobby Lobby or wherever,
yeah,
then awesome.
Yeah, they're super cute. I love them.
Yeah. Just, I guess, try to add some more realism to that strip right there with either dirt or, probably painting the bark of the trees and little things like that.
I would also fill in, like, you kind of see where your sidewalk kind of splits away from the grass.
That's probably where some dirt would go in that.
Yeah, I would just fill
right
in that seam with some dirt. The lines on the sidewalk look good.
It needs more texture.
I would add a little bit more texture to the sidewalks. Maybe add some cracks to it. I think they were at Hobby Lobby. So I'm not doing some petals that had fallen from the trees too. That would be cool. Yeah, like put them on the sidewalk, put them in the street. Make them look like they've blown around. Put them on their bases.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. Their base probably should have a petal or two just to make it cohesive.
Yep.
Heck yeah. I mean, what do you think, man? You got questions, comments, concerns? I mean, obviously you've been thinking about this, putting some time into it. Brainstorming is like the first step of this whole thing. We usually come back from Adepticon, or actually in the car ride home is when we're brainstorming.
Yeah.
This year we've been caught in like a brainstorm, where we
Mhm.
will re-sit down and re-go through everything and completely change our minds. So we're really behind this year.
Yeah, I think we've had like 5 brainstorming sessions and
Yeah,
we've come up
at
with like
least.
15 different ideas of what we wanted to do.
It's like,
And
oh, we could do this as a
then-
little.
then we narrowed it down to like 2 or 3,
Yeah.
and then we finally picked one.
Right. But usually it's like, here's this idea, how do we make it? And then we make it. This year it's like, but we really, because of all the critiques that we got last
Yeah.
year, we had our X-Men, X-Force in Armies on Parade, and we got a lot of critiques. I hunted down all the judges like Duncan and Rogue Hobbies and everyone, and I tried to get, and hobby Eric Locke Hobbies, just hunting them down and having them pick apart our stuff. So I've just been second guessing and really want to come back strong, taking all the feedback that we got last year.
Yeah.
I wish I'd been there the whole weekend this past year to see all the works in the case. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, it's a competition, but more than that, you're learning, you're collaborating. Alex, who did that Sinister Six display, I met him and we chatted and we critiqued each other's stuff, and that's the kind of thing you wanna do. And talk to the judges as much as they will let you talk to them, because there's a long line of people that want critiques, but the more you can get from them. I know you did a Sentinel in Path of the Worthy, I believe, because you brought it to your first competition in town and got best painted with that Sentinel, and you said Dallas didn't like the texture on there. Probably because it wasn't realistic. It was very stylized and cool, and I liked it. So it definitely earned best painted for me, but
I did
you gotta
that
play the judges.
in my cable as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, that Sentinel was really cool.
Okay, so your cable was in the case one year. Yeah, just trying to learn and meet people basically, and get in the judges' heads. So if you're doing Golden Demon, it's a whole different ball game because they're looking for a whole different set of metrics. They're looking for like GW technique coming through, but not GW technique because everyone's moved away from it. So
just trying to get better year after year. That's the
Absolutely.
whole goal. That's the goal. You want to get better year after year. I've been trying to rack my brain as to what to even do, if I even do Path of the Worthy this year. Like, I did it for the first time as well last year, and I don't know what to do. Like, I haven't been able to fall in love with a model like I did last year with Magic that has inspired me to paint anything.
You were gonna do Clea, but I don't know if Clea is a good choice for a painting competition because she's kind of small and spindly.
Yeah.
She's got a little bit of magic around a hand, but is it enough? Yeah. I don't know. Maybe. Magic was so dynamic, and you did amazing on your Limbo.
Yeah.
Magic and Limbo. Yeah, getting better year after year. Like, I'm not gonna go. I'm not gonna go on a deep dive on my hobby journey, but I'll give you an idea. It's about tools in the toolbox. So you're discovering new and different techniques. Like, my first technique was just base coat, and it was almost like a dry brush of white over the edges of things. I didn't know what I was doing back in 1997. Like, there wasn't washes in the speed paint yet, but I just kind of did something, whatever I could do, and then
we can kind of go through some of our old displays and show him some that we've...
But then you add washes. Like, that was the second thing that I learned. So I put washes on top of dry brushing, essentially.
Was this one of the first ones you did?
That one's probably the first one we could put up. And it's not exactly what I did. It's what we did. So that was the Dark Circus with my Bolt Guns Battle Bros from Ohio. Before we were doing MCP and Legion, I was an old 40K player. And those guys really helped shape and direct my hobby journey. I don't know if you can tell in that picture, but there's like there's airbrushing with galaxies on the side of the vehicles, and it's this floating circus theme, and it was awesome and insane.
He says you guys are both awesome painters. Well, thank you.
Thank you so much. I mean, I will take that. Like, everyone has a journey that they've been on, and then there's like so much more ahead. So, recently, like, adding fluorescent paints and like just adding on more and more layers of techniques and trying them in different ways. So yeah, this was I think 2016 with the Dark Circus thing, and those guys, like Joe, our team captain, kind of challenged us the year before because we were putting gradients on all of the barrels of the weapons, and so that's when I learned to blend. It was literally 2016, and I started in 1997. Like, Stephanie was blending day 2 of Minnie's painting, and I hadn't for
literally my first painting class by
years,
Brendan is how to blend on Red Skull's coat.
Yeah. So you got her layering and blending like
In my first
straight out the gate,
straight up.
and with a wet palette. We didn't have those back then.
There it is. So our first display, well, no, this isn't technically our first display. Hang on.
Our first Adepticon together, Star Wars Legion. I didn't have a partner for Legion teams, and Stephanie was like, well, if no one else will play Legion with you, I will. And that's what's kicked off this whole thing. So we did a Naboo, very basic. Look at this thing. It's just kind of a board with battle droids on it, with some,
Dirt and grass and
water and grass, and it's not a lot, but it looked nice. People liked it. They liked the theme. It's straight out of a Phantom Menace. Droidekas, B1s, and like, theme is our secret sauce, and we're weird. Like,
Yeah.
not everybody does that. Like, for Hazewood, I know you want to take Hulk and throw Gladiator with Hulk and stuff. When has Gladiator and Hulk ever been together? I don't know. But anyways, competitively, we kind of throw competitive lists out the window, and it has to be straight theme for us.
Yeah.
And that is what we do. You will never see me splash a character unless it has a thematic reason to be there.
We don't come up with lists to make it the most competitive thing to win every single game. We literally just pick whatever theme we want to do.
And that's crazy. And Lucas and Blackcraft and Wheel, like, they're all gonna, like, that's not their mentality, but it's what we do.
That's what we do.
And we have to, because the hobby, the theme comes first, the hobby, the sportsmanship, and then we'll try to play it as well as we can.
To be fair, I don't actually think Hulk Gladiator is all that competitive.
Well, you threw him at me a couple times. But anyway,
he might be a little competitive.
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely a trick to try.
But then we try to be, enough competitive to play the games and play them well and have fun and maybe win one or two.
Yeah. I mean, I've been kind of 50-50-ish.
Yeah.
Every year for MCP teams for the last 3 years, we've gone 2 and 3.
Yeah.
In 5 rounds. 2 and 3. 3 years in a row.
Yeah.
Maybe this next year we can go 3 and 2.
Sorry. Fun if it works. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe this year we'll win 3 of them.
We almost did last year, and then Paul, our buddy Paul, beat us with Avengers.
That was fun. But yeah, this was our first year, and that was a fun one. So then in 23, we came back.
But sometimes a basic display board can get you pretty far.
Yeah.
Like for Shatterpoint, the first year, a guy threw some models on a board with some sand, and it made it in Armies on Parade. They actually modified the Armies on Parade regulations because of that. And it's kind of cool how Stephanie and I have kind of helped shape Armies on Parade the last couple of years. I feel like we've influenced them.
I'm not gonna read them.
What? No, we've moved past that. We brought. Well, you should probably throw up Marshmallow.
Well, this happened first.
Okay, go for it.
Well,
We're having a 3-hour discussion in as little time as we possibly can. I promise it won't be 3 hours.
this was our first Marvel Crisis Protocol display.
So yeah, we went from Star Wars Legion to MCP, and I thought the way that I had painted these models was pretty good. Like, I thought it would be pretty competitive, and then I go into at Adepticon and realize that MCP painters are serious painters.
Oh yeah.
We learned that Marvel Crisis Protocol is the hobby game for Atomic Mass Games because Path of the Worthy. It's not Path of the Dark Side or
Right.
Path of the Jedi
Yeah.
or whatever other games. It's Path of the Worthy. That's their only painting competition, and people go hard on MCP. So people liked this board. Like, it has a story that it's telling, and we put pictures of buildings up back there. It's Web Warriors with some Defenders mixed in, and it was fun. And we put a lot of time into it and effort into designing this, and we thought it, might win
For our-
something, and it didn't, and that's fine.
Yeah.
We
it didn't.
learned.
It was our first Marvel board, and we learned. We saw what other people brought.
Exactly.
And we were like, wow, we really have to step up our game. And
That year, we saw Daddy Dormammu's Dark Disciples.
Yeah.
Was their team name.
they had a floating
Dormammu, like a dark dimension board.
thing that was lit up.
Yeah,
and it
all the
was-
models were painted to be Dark Dimension, and they got Best Display. They didn't get Armies on Parade because
Well, that
there was
wasn't-
only one army. There was, at the time, only one MCP display was going to go, and that went to Best Painted. Jonathan Ho, obviously, was Armies on Parade. They've since modified it to where you can have multiples from the same game system be selected based on the number of attendees and the caliber of displays.
Yeah.
So if there are a ton of awesome, amazing MCP boards, we could get 2 or 3 or
Yeah.
more displays in, and we almost did last year. 2 were chosen.
hmm
So then we
And
had Marshmallow.
Also for 2023,
Yep.
we had DJ Darth Mello.
DJ Darth Mello. It had lights, it had sounds. People came by and laughed. We had like DJ headphones on and stuff, and I was kind of applying all the things that I learned in 40K teams events, and we applied it to Legion with just having it be a spectacle. You're trying to get eyes. So, and that kind of works with Path of the Worthy entries as well. You're trying to direct eyes towards your piece. You want to be eye-catching. Valis talks about this, walking by the case. You want your piece to be waving, hello, come look at me. Come look at me closer. You don't want to, you don't want it to be like muted to the point where it's just easily forgotten
Yeah.
and passed by. You want to catch people.
Yep.
So,
This was definitely.
and that's what we did with Marshmallow.
It was loud. It was in your face, and
It didn't make Armies on Parade because Legion wasn't in Armies on Parade this year. But then the next year, I think partly because we
opened-
did this,
They opened it up to AMG,
up to more games.
up to more games.
Because MCP was there.
Yeah.
And
that,
then
that's right.
and then they decided to look at all the different team events and select the game systems
Yep.
that would be
Because
good, be
they
good for
saw this
doubles
and they
or
were like,
for
that should have
player.
been in it.
Yeah. Anyway, every year they've tweaked Armies on Parade and the Adepta Cup, and it's been really fun to go along the journey, especially with Eric Locke to get his feedback year after year and develop what we got.
So let's move on to 2024.
Sure.
CP. Oh. This is pretty tall. I'm going to shrink this one down a bit. Sorry.
Something I was going to mention earlier is I think elevation is something you want to try to incorporate, whether it's a balcony or whatever. There's a lot of displays that you see now that have different elevations, and I think that just helps with making the scene happen. Oh, speaking of elevation, we put our park on top of our buddy's subway, and this took best theme.
Mm-hmm.
2 teams joining forces took best theme. It didn't make Armies on Parade because it was only one chosen. That year it was Jay Shalansky with his Danger Room board that made it to Armies on Parade. And he was doing that with MCP while we were taking our Mandos to Armies on Parade.
Yep.
So.
Yeah, but this was super fun. We met these guys in 23. They were our favorite opponents. And we kept in touch and talked through Discord, and that portal on top is awesome. How did you do that? I made that. That is I found a wooden circle at Hobby Lobby that I cut part of it off to make the half circle. And then I wrapped an LED light strip around it. And then I wrapped that LED light strip with
pipe cleaners,
gold pipe cleaners. And then I stuck pieces of more pipe cleaners in and around the wrapped pipe cleaners to make little spikes of it coming off. And then of course the LED light strip, you can make whatever color you want. So I made it orange. And so
I am the luckiest guy on the planet that my wife does this with me. Stephanie's so amazing. I would never have thought of, hey, let's take some pipe cleaners and wrap it around some lights to make the Doctor Strange portal from the MCU. And then we put a picture of Wakanda behind it. It's hard to see the Wakanda back there, but it's supposed to be a portal to Wakanda because we've got
Shuri and
Okoye coming out
from the Wakanda throne room.
Yep, this was our A-Force, and we called it Marvel Rising. You might not have ever heard of Marvel Rising. No one actually came up to us and be like, oh yeah, I remember that old cartoon. But it was mainly female characters, so we did A-Force in the park.
Yep.
We got Storm with Storm Cloud.
Storm has a storm cloud that flickered lightning. It's just a bunch of cotton balls that are shredded apart, and I had these little pod lights,
a tea light,
like a little LED tea light that you can make different colors.
Yeah. And
one of the settings was a white flash, so I just set it to that white flash and put a bunch of shredded cotton balls on top of it.
This is probably the level 1 of effects on display boards.
Yeah.
I think most 40K players, I'm sorry to say 40K, but a lot of people start with 40K.
Yeah.
That's what they learn. And because it looks nice and it's super easy, throw a cotton ball over a light, you can paint the cotton ball or whatever.
It looks like smoke or a cloud.
It's very effective and it's very easy. And I think it's good for armies, but it's not necessarily good for display board type things. Yeah. I don't think it's good for a Path of the Worthy, but it's still... Yeah, I don't know.
I do wish we could have done something better with the Rainbow Bridge, but I think we did our best with that.
There's a rainbow on there. What else are you going to do? It's strip a rainbow.
But yeah, our buddies did really good with their subway underneath our Central Park.
Yep.
They've got the graffiti on the back wall. They've got their newspaper trash all over
everywhere.
the place. He's got little tiny trash bags everywhere, and just the details that he's got. He's got leaves down in the tracks of the subway, and it's all in those tiny details.
Yep. That was David
and
Andrew.
So we've already kind of looked at this one, but we'll look at it again. So in 2024 for Legion, we then had our Mandalorians.
I was unemployed at the time, so I had some extra time to put into those Mandos, and I did.
Yeah.
I watched every YouTube video I could find on different painting techniques, and I tried to throw them on there. If you look at the droid that's in the middle by the furnace, not furnace, what do we call it? The forge.
The forge.
It's pure non-metallic metal robot, because I was learning and practicing non-metallic metal. And there were so many techniques and little details on those things.
Well, you did so good at like even making the armorer's outfit out of green stuff.
Yeah,
like,
did a little green stuff work. I'm not a
Yeah.
master at green stuff, but I think a little bit of a conversion with green stuff's great.
Yeah.
I try to incorporate different weapons, so I gave Din Djarin a spear. There's one guy who's shooting out
Whistling birds.
whistling birds and jetpack streams. A lot of them, especially the ones that are flying, have like streams coming down. They're jetpacks, and I made that with cotton balls rolled together with
Yep.
glue and smoothed out and stuff like that.
And
So
the forge is, if you ever need like fire flames that are going up,
Yeah.
the way I did the forge, which this picture is kind of hard to tell, well, you'll have to look at other pictures that are on our Instagram. I made it by putting a drop of hot glue onto the light, because again, that's another one of those little pod light LED lights like I used for Storm's Cloud.
Yep.
You put a drop of hot glue on it and you pull it up and you let it dry,
make strands.
and you make strands, and then you just trim them off however long you want them, and they will stay sticking up.
You could make so much. You could do like cave stalactite, stalagmite
Yeah.
type stuff with that,
With
or
hot,
drippy.
just with hot glue. And then like I made the rim of the forge that you can kind of see there. That is a ring from a bottle of soy sauce. I just pulled that ring off of like underneath the cap, like the seal ring.
Yeah.
I just pulled that off the bottle and we painted it, and it was the perfect size to go around the top of the light to make it look like the rim of the forge. Like simple things like that that you find around your house.
So here's a question for you, Stephanie,
Mm-hmm.
because this one has a backdrop.
Yeah.
I painted the galaxy back there and those ships and stuck them on. Has a backdrop. Everything's facing front, which they didn't necessarily like. They wanted more action. Question for you is, do displays benefit from having a backdrop? Should a Path of the Worthy piece have a backdrop or not?
It depends on the person judging, on what's going on. Like, yes and no.
Yep. And why? Why yes, why no? This is something that you, Hazelwood, or whomever is working on one of these pieces has to really think about. It's a really big decision whether you're going to have a backdrop or not, and how you're going to use it.
Yeah.
So with a backdrop, you are forcing the perspective. They can't walk around the back and see anything. So you are forced to look at it from this very specific view, which a lot of models and artwork and all this stuff has like a golden angle, the best angle to view that model or display from. And with a backdrop, you get to make that happen. They can kind of look at different angles, some parallax, things to discover from different angles, but it's much harder, I think. But again, that backdrop can help sell what you're trying to portray. And you could really show some different skills, especially if you do freehand. If you're a two-dimensional artist, then a
Like
backdrop.
Brendan tried to show off with his freehand ships.
I'm not much of a 2D artist, but I mean, I had fun with those, and Eric said he liked the style. So this isn't a Path of the Worthy piece. This is a Armies on Parade piece, but still, yeah. Should Red Hulk and Sam, should they have a backdrop? Probably not, but maybe.
I would say no.
Probably not.
On that piece that you're working on, I would say no to a backdrop.
Yeah.
I would make sure that every single one of your edges is finished and that someone could look at that piece from any angle.
Yeah, I like that. I mean, Jonathan Ho again has won all this Path of Worthies all the time until Anthony Wang this year, and most of his pieces I don't think they have a backdrop. Like the terrain and the elements are the backdrop, of the scene, but there's not a just flat board behind anything. He did the Spider-Man versus Doc Ock that first year and blew everyone away with it. You can view that thing from any angle and find, so much to see as you rotate that thing 360. And there's something about rotating it 360 in the hand that judges like to do.
I'm not, but if you saw my Marines from when I played 40K, they in retrospect were bad. I've only been painting seriously since I started playing MCP.
Heck yeah. Well, the fact that you've just mainly been serious about painting since the start of MCP, like there's so many things that you do that catch the eye. I like your style because the way you paint makes me look at your models and want to look at it more closely. So you're definitely on the right track as far as your painting, your hobby journey. Blend, contrast, right? Like your shadows have to be darker and your brights have to be brighter. Prime example of this, if you look at Anthony Wang's winning piece this year, it was Jean Grey, and she's above a sentinel head. If you look at the way that's painted, it has the most incredible contrast. And I think that's why it won over anything else, over design and over like the theme, because it's painted in such a way where every surface looks like it's bright and shining and blinding your eyes almost, because it has so much incredible contrast. I think that's why it got chosen. So everyone says contrast. Every judge is going to say contrast. So I, as a pseudo judge for the moment, I'm going to say contrast. And dark doesn't always mean black, you know, but obviously black helps.
2025.
X-Men X-Force, which I know you've already seen this. She's going to throw it up anyways. In some ways, it's kind of back to basics because it's just stuff on a board. But we tried to do a lot of things with this round board, with all the different textures.
Any closing thoughts for him? He wishes he had more time.
Oh, yeah, sure. You're awesome. Keep going, keep trying, and you're going to, I'm sorry, you might lose some sleep over whether you want to use Red Hulk or not.
Yeah.
I'm so sorry to tell you that. But there's other categories. There's single model and there's squad. So I don't think you want to hamstring yourself by getting caught up with Red Hulk. Maybe you want to move to a single model and see what you can do there. What I would do is brainstorm. Notebook. Stephanie has a notebook that has every brainstorming session written out in loving detail, which I will one day enjoy, like going back through and reading all of this stuff. But it's a huge part of our design journey when it comes to this stuff. And so brainstorm.
And write it down. Do you want to go through this last one for anyone else?
Yeah, sure. So with this, we have two major pieces of action. We've got the two sentinels on either side that kind of splits the eye, but it kind of makes the swirling mass in the middle give it some direction as far as like splitting them apart and kind of forcing them towards the center. Cable, the leader of the X-Force and a very prominent X-Man, is the center. He is the leader of this futuristic mutants fight for survival here. We have Toad and Mystique emerging from the ruins of what would be the X-Mansion that's towards us. This thing spins around so you can enjoy seeing different little pieces of the action, like Gambit throwing, like the back of the building says Magneto is right, like Cyclops who's literally blasting out that side of the building as he's coming at the Sentinel on that side. So this was really cool. We got a lot of comments on this. It was on Rogue Hobbies, and it spins around because the year prior, Eric Locke suggested that you want to be able to discover things as you rotate and look at it from different angles. And so we made it so you can look at it 360.
Yep.
And then we got the feedback, well, it probably shouldn't spin all the way around because you're losing the golden angle.
We took that feedback a little too literally.
Yes.
We heard the word rotate and we took it and we ran with it.
So now we're going back to things facing forward. That's just another thing you have to decide on, like how you want to do it. But you do want to have cool things for the judges to find as they rotate your stuff.
Yeah.
If it's a joke or something that they couldn't see from the other side.
I think they really enjoyed spinning it and discovering new things as they rotated it, though.
Yep.
Because they were like, "Oh, I didn't even see Cyclops over here," or "Oh, you have a poster over here. That's cool."
And actually, the inspiration list-wise for this roster was that up to this point, we had played the same affiliation in every game. Like A-Force, we played She-Hulk all day. Like we always played the same leader in every game.
Yeah.
We played mono affiliation. So we decided, why not try to make as many affiliations in one list as we possibly could?
Yeah.
So at one point, this was going to be X-Men, X-Force, Brotherhood, Hellfire Club, and Weapon X to do a 5 affiliation list.
That was our original brainstorm session on the way home from 2024.
And we were going to try to play each of our games as a different affiliation.
Yeah.
That got too much of a headache. We were doing the math as far as like what characters are what affiliations to see if you could make that work with 14 characters.
Yeah.
And you kind of can. We did, but in all reality, we had to trim it down for the tactics cards and just being able to wrap our brains around playing this thing.
Yeah.
And we played it on stream. Yes, Lady Jane took us apart, but we played our list competently.
Hey, Shrub34.
What's up, Shrub?
They say it was very neat to see and spin. That's awesome.
Oh, sweet.
I'm glad you got to see it in person. Perfect.
Sweet.
Thanks for joining.
Yes. So we had this MCP display and it rotated around. It was fun and I think people enjoyed that. But the judges' feedback for Armies on Parade, especially with Duncan Rhodes, is he said you want to have the golden angle. You don't want to lose the golden angle.
Yeah.
Because if somebody walks by when it's rotated backwards in the wrong way, then they're going to lose it. So now we're back to looking at it from the front.
Yep.
How much do you want to spoil of what we've been working on?
Not very much.
Not very much?
No.
Okay. Okay, well,
We have to bring some mystery.
Yeah, okay. All right. We look for, hopefully you will be there again in the Atomic Mass Games area. Because I don't know if you bounce around and judge different things for Adepticon. I think that's the case.
Yeah, you get the golden angle for the big displays.
Yeah.
It's definitely going to be a bigger display this year.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a lot of crafting. It's definitely a lot more ambitious than what we've had in the past.
I plan to judge MCP and 40K again.
Yes!
Sweet!
Okay.
Perfect.
I'm not going to tell you exactly what it is, but I will say that to me, this display that we've been working on for MCP teams for this next year, it kind of feels like 6 mini Path of the Worthy pieces put together. And they're... Yeah, it's
it's ambitious.
It's ambitious, and we're kind of behind because we've brainstormed on it too many times and we've changed our minds too many times. But
and here it is, December. And
yeah. But this last weekend, I mean, we basically put all weekend into it.
We got a good start to it, so.
Yeah. I know that Abby's been around with different game systems and has done painting with Mr. Wapple and all these things. So I'm kind of curious if you don't mind sharing with you like the kinds of things that catch your eye the most. Is that an okay question?
Yeah.
Or like as a judge, like what you're looking for. Are you looking for goofy people in costume across the room? Like, does cosplay matter? Does if we had like a big banner behind our stuff, would that help? Or you know what I mean? There's so many like gimmicks that I've thought about. Hey, should we try this? Should we not? Is it worth the time? I don't think we'll ever go like full cosplay, but just kind of matching or doing like little.
We typically do like
things.
a matching T-shirt and something.
Yeah, I think it just kind of helps to sell what we do because we're so theme focused. So you don't have to share your secrets. This is our sharing of secrets time, but I'd be interested to know about that.
Yeah.
Oh.
So I normally focus heavily on model appearance primarily.
Yeah. And that's the way it really should be.
Yeah.
So painting techniques and contrast and blended gradients and textures. That's something.
But as for theme, I take what I know of the system lore and then to break ties as theme.
Yeah. And that's kind of like an Adepticon staple is you want what you're doing, usually, unless you're doing a wacky 40K thing or Marshmallow Troopers or whatever, like you usually want to really well represent the world that your models would be living in.
Yeah. But I do love a wacky theme though. It normally doesn't win, but I do enjoy them.
Yeah, it's like it's good for like sportsmanship and theme and those kind of awards, but it usually doesn't tie in with like best painted.
Yeah.
Usually best painted is like this character in their universe sticking, to the system and the lore accurate.
Yeah.
If and when we get into GW systems, it would definitely not be a GW themed thing. We're not going to do Ultramarines. We're going to do our own kind of Marines if we end up doing Marines. I'm an old 40K player, and I'm okay with either doing strictly lore or wacky. So.
Oh, one thing we haven't talked about is lighting. Not only do you want to light it in a way that is fun and having those little embellishment pieces on your board, but you also want to make sure that it is lit in a way that the judges can see what you've made. Let me pull back up the image of that double-decker that we did with our buddies. When we sat our Central Park on top of their subway, we had to think about how we were going to light the back of their board. So what we had to do was we had to build lights into the bottom of our board that were going to light their board from up underneath.
So we could actually see
so that we
the
could
back of the subway.
So that we could see the back of the subway while our board was sitting on top of theirs, blocking all the light from above. So, that's something you have to think about too, is if you have multiple layers or platforms, you have to think about where you're putting lights inside and getting light within it to make sure that if you have crevices or like hallways or caves or whatever, that you can see into those areas to see what's going on.
Or if you don't want it to be seen, then don't light it up.
Right.
Like if there's supposed to be a dark crevice or something.
Supposed to be dark, yeah.
For that contrast.
Yeah.
So Stephanie.
Yes.
Slap chop would you say slap chop is good for painting competitions? Why or why not?
No.
Why not? Well, what is slap chop?
Abby says, otherwise the appearance judges are going to pick up your models.
Yeah,
and we don't want that. So I don't know a whole lot about Slap Chop.
Right.
Just the name alone, it sounds sloppy.
Right. So the other night you said that that Slap Chop was sloppy.
Mm-hmm.
So as far as I know, it's basically dry brushing and speed painting and doing layers of that. So normally speed painting is just over speed paint or contrast paints over just white. But what you would do is you would do like dry brushing over black or whatever to have very quickly highlighted surfaces, and then you put speed paint over it to add more depth.
Highlights and lowlights.
Highlights and lowlights, right?
Yeah.
Super quickly. So I actually used Slap Chop in my Wrecking Crew, and it took best unit, but I only used it for base coating. I used it to get in the cracks, and they specifically were looking for different colors. Like they wanted a lot of different color on the pieces. So I just started off with contrast paint and then added layering on top of that, and blended on top of it and detailed on top of it. So, I mean, I think any technique can be used, I would say, but it's like how you use it. It's just a tool, like Games Workshop technique.
But I wouldn't use speed paint in a painting competition.
You wouldn't? But you could.
I guess.
Like I said, I used it for base coating as my base coat.
For base coating, yeah, I guess.
You probably don't want to stop there. You
no.
You don't want to contrast paint something and just submit that. But
yeah. You probably don't want to use like different technique, like different effect paints like Turbo Dork for a painting competition.
Yeah, probably not. But you could.
You could if you really wanted to.
Yeah.
But you probably shouldn't.
I think at the highest level of painting, not that I'm anywhere near that.
If you're doing like Golden Demon or Path of the Worldly, probably not.
You're probably not turbo dorking something for those.
Yeah.
But you might. And I think I've heard that you shouldn't mix true metallic metal and non-metallic metal on the same model, but I do it all the time and I kind of like it. I mean, obviously more non-metallic metal is gonna do better for you, but I don't think it's a sin to do a little true metallic metal on something that you've done some non-metallic metal on. That's just my opinion, but some people are very strict about that. If they see those two different styles on the same miniature, they're gonna have a problem with it. I don't. My first technique I ever did was dry brushing. Not exactly like whipping it back and forth dry brushing, but very, very softly just kind of taking white paint and putting it over the edges of stuff.
You know what my favorite thing to do is?
What?
Wet blending.
See, and you too brush wet blend, and I don't know how to do that. And I've been doing the 20, 30 years more
Whipping
than you have.
Whipping the brush back and forth in the wet paint and blending it all in.
That's so good.
When I was blending my Dormammu portal.
Yeah.
That was fun.
Yeah. Some people would say that wet blending is the Slap Chop of blending, though, because you have like other layers of blending that you can do, like glazing and stipple glazing, where you're taking very see-through, translucent. You're taking very translucent layers and just doing tiny little layers at a time. Whereas with wet blending, it works, it looks amazing, but it is a lot quicker than stipple glazing.
Yeah.
Stipple glazing can take you all day, all week, all month. So, it's just different techniques.
Yeah.
But I've glazed black before, even for shading. There's like there's a lot of different ways you can shade. You can throw a wash in there, which I definitely don't recommend washes for like a painting competition piece. But you can glaze black, where you're kind of like putting very translucent dark layers into shade areas. Or you could glaze dark purple or glaze dark blue or whatever for variety. So I don't know. I'm not an expert. I've just been doing this a long time. That doesn't make me an expert. What else? What other secrets do we have to disclose before we're done for tonight? Sportsmanship helps.
Sportsmanship.
It sounds crazy, but I think like connecting with people and making friends and doing that communication for that feedback and collaborating with other artists is a huge piece of the puzzle that not everyone hits. You could be a super incredible artist, but if you aren't really part of the artist community and you haven't collaborated with others, then you're kind of like in your own little bubble. You can learn a lot from other people is what I'm trying to get at, I think.
I'm gonna throw up one last picture.
Like I said, I found them the next day to like tear our stuff apart, because at Armies on Parade it was a lot of nice things that people said, but we didn't win, and I wanted to know why.
Yeah, they were really cool. So yeah, that's our secrets.
Being friendly helps. Communicating. More techniques, more tools in the toolbox. Being eye-catching. Picking the right model is something we talked about early on in the stream.
Light your stuff.
Make sure it can be seen, and get out there and try and take feedback.
Take lots and lots of feedback.
Lose a lot so you can win.
Yep. Get better every day.
Try, ask questions. Get the hard feedback. Don't ask for the oh, it looks great. No, I want to know. I want to know every little detail.
Look for stuff around your house that has different textures that you can turn into other things, like rings from a soy sauce bottle or toothpicks or wires from a bread twist tie that you can turn into whistling birds. Like, you can find all sorts of things around your house. Hot glue.
The twist eye thing was the wrist rocket.
Oh,
the whipcord.
The whipcord.
Whipcord.
That's right. We did the whistling birds with the hot glue.
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah.
Another hot glue trick.
That was another hot glue trick.
That is a great tool in the toolbox right there.
Get yourself a hot glue gun.
Foam cutter. Sand of different sizes.
Yep.
Rocks of different sizes.
Rodents of unusual size.
Perfect.
All right, guys. Thanks for joining.
Thanks, everybody that joins.
We will be live again next Monday at 7 o'clock Eastern Time. We will be streaming the Adepticon cart preview next Monday. I don't know what time it actually goes live, but we're going to be streaming at 7 o'clock no matter what. So
hopefully it's out by then.
And we're going to be looking through the cart preview and seeing if all of our events that are on our wish list got scheduled for when we're hoping they got scheduled for.
Fingers crossed. We would love to do 2 events that have potentials for being in Armies on Parade.
Yep.
Or 3, but that's probably way too much.
With MCP teams being our main event.
Yep.
So we're gonna be looking for that, and we will see you guys next Monday.
Later.